on this episode of Edge of the Web.
Essentially, the goal is to help people move from being in Expertville, we call it, where there's competition for your expertise, there's competition for your business, and move across the axis through the crossroads in the middle to become a visionary and really present your big idea, because that's what differentiates you in the market. Those are the kinds of things that actually get you high margin business that closes really fast.
Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. You're listening and watching Edge of the Web. Winners of Best Podcast from the Content Marketing Institute for 2017. Here and see more at edgeofthewebradio.com. Now, alongside Tom Broadbeck, here's your host, Aaron Sparks.
All right. Hey, we're broadcasting from Edge Media Studios located in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Every week, we're actually bringing you the latest trends in digital marketing, as well as connecting with top-notch influencers from around the world inside of digital marketing and conventional marketing as well. Maybe conventional and digital. I don't like conventional terms anymore. I do something legacy marketing. That's what it is. Okay. Old dog marketing.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to respond to that.
No, just nod your head. Hey, check out our recent shows at edgeofthewebradio.com. We're powered by Site Strategics, your digital marketing pioneer specializing in the agile digital marketing process and strategy execution. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, what Site Strategics is really about, what agile marketing is really all about, just let us know. Drop by the site, put in a contact form, or give us a call at, and I don't use this nearly enough, we got a toll-free number. It's really cool. So there at the bottom of the screen, it's 877-SEO for web. And so many people get irritated having to translate that. So it translates into 877-736-4932. Just give us a call. We'll actually sit down with you and be able to talk to you about your online success, and even give you some action items that you can use for your website immediately.
Yes, and we'll save you for all those tolls you get for the call.
Exactly. See, that's what the thing is about. And we do work across the world, right?
Yes, we do. Across the world. So I'm your host, Aaron Sparks. I'm the CEO and owner of Site Strategics. We do this for a number of reasons. One of the preeminent reasons is to make sure that we know what's going on inside of digital marketing tactics and strategies, and it constantly changes. There's a constant need for just education in this space, so it's a bit self-serving. It is a marketing execution, but it's also gives us the information of what's happening and how to grow our clients' business. So we appreciate you joining us in the live stream, as well as all of the listeners on our podcast. Hey, we'd love to have the type of engagement that we're getting regularly for the show. And if you have any questions, if you want us to actually to focus on something, just drop us a note. We'd love to talk about what you're interested in. So around the table here is Thomas Broadbeck, digital media director of Edge Media Studio. I'm just going to change your title. Yeah, one of these days.
I have no idea why that's tripping me up. And I'd like to introduce our guest, keynote speaker, Andrew Davis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? This is really fun. I love the studio. I love the toll-free number, because I like.
Who uses that anymore?
Some people don't have unlimited call packages. So for those people, toll-free is where it's at.
Wow, yeah, the rotary dial. We were trying to really help out the rotary dials as well. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was either the toll-free number or the QR code that was going to stick on the stream right there. Right. So I opted for something more personal. Hey, we wanted to award the winner of our last Edge of the Web contest with Iographer. So we had a contest last week. I'll kind of spur of the moment. So for some Iographer swag and product giveaway.
Yeah.
And the winner is
Tim Flanagan.
Wow. Go Tim. I put my sound effects pad away.
No.
Hold on. Tim, we should try it again.
All right.
We could announce
All
it
right,
again.
let's do this again. So we had a great show last week with Iographer, and what a fantastic show it was. Mm-hmm. And during the show, we had a giveaway, right? And it was kind of it was the spur of the moment. We were giving away some swag, and the winner of that contest is
Tim Flanagan.
What? Oh, no. I hit the wrong button. It's a baby crying.
I'm so sorry, Tim.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you. That's what I was really trying to do.
Did you just call him a baby? What the heck is that?
I'll send Tim one of my books too. How's that?
Oh,
Just to make
there we
up for
go.
the poor announcement.
So Andrew Davis does not speak on behalf of Edge of the Web or any of the affiliates. Oh, and so congratulations, Tim Flanagan, and we're certainly going to connect you and Iographer together. And fantastic contributions to the show last week. Hey, if you are checking out on all of the different podcasts, hey, we're almost on every platform for the audio aggregation. So check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Acast. If you are wanting the show in a platform that you are preferring, just give us a shout, and we'll make sure that our audio gets to you. But on top of everything else, we really would like to have you as part of the stream, part of the engagement of the live broadcast show that we're doing through Facebook. Soon to be in YouTube as well as Periscope. We're starting to open up the floodgates here after a while and be able to have that omni-channel broadcast, right?
We'll be everywhere.
We will be
We're streaming at all the streams.
All the socials. Excellent. Yeah, and I'm just waiting on the LinkedIn stream. I really am.
I have a feeling that's coming.
I believe so. Hey, this segment is actually brought to you by our sponsors over at SEMRush, the world's leading competitive intelligence and keyword research tool trusted by over 1 million online marketers every day to give them an edge over the competition. If you want to see exactly where your competitors are, they're either online organically or advertising online, then head on over to the website URL, semrush.com/edge of the web, all one word, and to get your 14-day free trial today. It's a fantastic tool. We love it. We use it every day.
Every day. We use it, keyword research for blog ideas, video ideas, all this. Great, it's a great resource. Definitely check it out if you don't have a subscription to it yet.
That's right, and you also need to be staying tuned because we're also going to be out advertising or introducing a few more sponsors coming on the show here in the next couple of weeks. So pay attention because these guys are fantastic at what they do as well. So we're happy to announce that next week. So you have to tune in next week. All right, hey, let's take you through the latest digital marketing news.
I was very excited to start my reportings.
This week's trending topics.
Okay, so from Mashable, from Carissa Bell, YouTube has a better way to watch vertical videos. There is no way to...
Thank goodness.
I was sweating it. And they also have a new logo, so I don't even want to address vertical videos. Can you do this for me, Tom? It's the bane of my existence. It really is.
Yeah, so YouTube announced a few updates to their app and their desktop platform, and so read straight here from the article. YouTube will soon update its apps. Like I just said, when you play vertical video, you won't see those ugly black bars on the side. The changes come as part of a bigger redesign and also brings new features to YouTube's website as well as an updated logo. The new vertical video support is rolling out to YouTube's app soon, so not yet. Though the visual refresh with the logo is now live. This means if you vertically shoot videos, they will look more like what you see on Snapchat, with videos filling the entire screen of your phone than what YouTube has typically been known for. While something YouTube probably should have implemented years ago, looks welcome news to everybody. They also have some new navigation features, so you have an ability to change video's playback speed.
Right.
New navigational gestures that'll let you skip to the next video by swiping across your screen, and of course the new shiny YouTube logo and icon.
What do you think about that YouTube? Hey, Jim, could you scroll down a little bit on the icon there, or the logo, the new YouTube logo?
There's a GIF there at the bottom of the
Keep on scrolling.
the article.
Keep on scrolling. And there, right there. Check it out. So can you bring that full screen for us? So
There you go.
Big change.
There's the old logo. Yeah, I know. Big change.
It threw me off. It threw me off when I was watching YouTube video is embedded on a website, and it was just like a bolded white text, and there was no outline around the tube part. And so it kind of threw me off for a loop. But
I was on YouTube this morning, and I actually thought I was on like some sinister, until I read the article that we were talking about this afternoon, and I was like, oh, that is the real YouTube. Thank goodness.
It's amazing what a logo can do to you. It can put your game off for the entire day.
I mean, it's been a decade that I've had a relationship, I feel like, with the YouTube logo, and I know it's evolved a little bit over time, but this seems like a really big transition.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But boy, you see that call to action there. I mean, that's a big old play button, right?
Yeah. I mean, play button's their thing.
Yeah, that's kind of been their thumbnail for at least on the app side of thing. So at least it's integrated into the logo now.
I dig it.
But vertical video.
Hey man, you know what? Carissa's right though. They should have done that a long time ago. For the people that really can't stand watching those videos, it would have made them at least bearable.
Yeah. But you're accommodating bad photography. Now we just talked to iconographer last week, and I mean honestly, vertical videos is just a sign of laziness.
Yeah, but I bet things are going to change over the next 10 years. I think it won't seem unusual, and I think people are actually going to adopt devices that and even display devices that take advantage of the fact that this is kind of a new way to view the world. You're right. I think for people like us, it seems so weird. And I came out of the television industry. And I too used to like smack my forehead whenever I saw that. And now I've come to just accept that it's going to be the way it works in the future.
Oh my gosh! So I mean,
we're going to start live streaming in vertical next week too, Aaron.
Oh, you're killing me! No. If you haven't seen the vertical video syndrome, and this is the second week that we're referencing it, go see that, because literally it shows the calamity, the destruction of society, where all of the theaters have to be torn down to show vertical cinematography, and I flat out reject that. It's not how the eyes work. So until your eyes actually go vertical, I am going to be adamant that we will not stream in a vertical session. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. All right. From Marketing Land, from Greg Sterling, it's Amazon versus Google as we enter a new era of online to offline e-commerce. Well, here's the deal, is that Amazon actually crosses over and becomes more this ultimate omni-channel juggernaut. Traditional retailers are actually at this existential crossroads. The major advantage of that traditional retailers have over Amazon was the availability and immediacy of the stores. You could walk in and purchase something, right? You can see and touch these products and then be able to take these things home. Well, Amazon is chipping away at those advantages with Prime, obviously. I mean, you order something from Prime, literally, it'll be here tomorrow. Yeah. Right?
Or in 10 minutes or whatever that article we had a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. Now they're actually, they're getting into nearly a $14 billion purchase with Whole Foods. Yep. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, they just start appearing in the stores this week. I think I saw articles about them being in our stores, and they're dropping prices, all their produce and everything.
Yep. Now it's crazy. Amazon will also likely use Whole Foods stores for other purposes beyond just selling the Echo devices. There's 400 stores that could easily and will likely become Amazon return centers as well. So this is a big play. And what you're seeing here is it could be very well a huge counterweight to the local stores, the local retailers.
Yeah. This is a big story, but it's one that's always a big story. Like Amazon's always making big moves. When they bought the newspaper, the Washington Post, that was a big deal. In the same way, I think that buying Whole Foods is a big deal. It will change retail for everyone, not just the local mom and pops. But I'll be honest, if I can go to Whole Foods and it's mashed up with a Best Buy, that would be paradise.
Shangri-La, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. If I could buy a tripod and some milk, it's I would love that. And that's what Amazon is great at when it comes to the delivery service.
We're gonna have to Photoshop that and just do a jug of milk on a tripod and send it to Andrew. We're working on that right now. Check out the article over at Marketing Land. It's a fantastic snapshot, and you're absolutely right, Andrew. Is that Amazon's not been a story for a very long time, and what a challenge to Google.
Yeah. That's the last part of the article there was talking about how Walmart and Google's partnered up to kind of combat what Amazon's doing. But it's two different companies.
Yeah, I'm a guy that loves partnerships, but this one seems like a hard one to stop. I mean, an acquisition is a pretty big stake in the ground, and I think it's going to be really hard for them to compete on the partnership basis as rapidly as Amazon can evolve.
Yeah, maybe Google will buy Walmart.
I wouldn't have that.
You heard it from Tom first. That
would shake the industry.
Oh my gosh! That'd
be one crazy price tag though too.
Yeah, it would. And the New York Stock Exchange would be really messed up. It'd be like Googwa.
Wagoog.
Alpha Wa.
Wagoog.
Hey, last article from Mike Blumenthal at blumenthals.com. Upload video to Google Map listings now. A new feature on Google Local. Check that out.
Yeah, so if you are a local guide, and you can only be a local guide if you have an Android phone, so this is for Android people, but if you're a local guide, you can...
Who are those people?
I'm one. I didn't know I was one, but apparently I am.
I'm just kidding.
I Googled, I looked to see what local guide meant, and I was like, oh, I am one, and I have 66 points.
Did not know that.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's a little bit of brand awareness problem right there.
But it's like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter.
That's right.
All right.
I'm earning something without even trying.
When I'm at a local restaurant, or if I'm at Goose the Market and take a picture of their meat display there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you earn the points.
That's
I
right.
see.
Yes. So if you're a local guide and you're leaving reviews, this is kind of like their counterbalance to Yelp. I feel like you can upload a 10-second video with your Google Map app that can be uploaded directly to that Google Local page. So we can do we do a video here of our studio, 10-second video, and then that will be viewed in all the SERPs. So not just Android devices, it'll be on desktop and mobile.
Well, you know what that is? That's a challenge to the Instagram 15-second video. They're trying to get that into SERPs where you don't have to. That's a neat play right there.
Yeah. So this is another thing you can do to boost your local page. So there's Google Posts, and there's some videos you can do. You can do local ads and whatnot.
So being the Google guy, right? Are you going to be able to do that for us? Sorry, Andrew.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I mean, I just found out about it the other day. So
that's now part of your job requirement. Every show that we do, got to push the Google Local there.
Yeah. I don't think it's not really like the social network. It's just like adding another photo to the Google Photo carousel.
Got it.
So
I do think a lot of local retailers are overwhelmed with the amount of options just Google provides to create and distribute content on their platform. Yeah. And I think as a result, they actually don't do a good job of any of it.
It's like nobody knows on the Google side. They don't know what each other's doing. They really don't.
And then I think on the consumer side, it's like, should I add video? What kind of video? 10 seconds of what?
Right.
Is that more important than like putting my correct phone number in hours? Like, I'm glad you have a video, but what time are you open? And so I really do think there's a big opportunity for someone to really help a lot of these local businesses take advantage of even just the basics and then, the advanced stuff as well.
Are you saying that there should be a cobble industry of just how to navigate all the local properties for Google?
You know what? I wonder if there is. It's something I haven't looked into, but I was just in Nashville speaking at an event for local furniture and electronic and appliance retailers. And I think they really do need help and assistance. And a lot of them, open the store in the morning, close the store at night, and Google's the last thing they think about.
Well, you know what? Helping and assistance is what we're all about as well. So we want to be able to help and assist you in understanding what's happening on Edge of the Web each and every week. How about that for a segue?
There you go. That was good. This is like your 238 episodes in.
So we want you to join the Edge of the Web newsletter, and you can do it a lot of easy ways. Just go to edgeofthewebradio.com, obviously, and be able to do the forum stuff. But on top of that, you could even use your smartphone and text to the number 22828 the word Edge Talk and be able to sign up very, very easily. The free newsletter covers everything that we're about to cover on the show, who we talk to, as well as the news stories of the day that we're bringing to you, and as well as a little insider information. We're dropping some good information in there on a weekly basis. And on top of that, we use your email for no other reason but just sending these wonderful, beautiful moments of digital gold.
Right. Gold in your email.
You can actually call 1-877-SEO-WEB. Is that right?
SEO for web.
For SEO for web, that was right. It's not enough numbers, and someone will answer and sign you up as well. So you
Oh
can
my
text,
gosh, that's right.
You can email, or you
call.
can call.
If you are encumbered, if you're a keyboard encumbered, and you cannot
That's right.
call us, and we'll put you on the list
That's right.
for you.
We will.
Perfect.
I will do it.
Oh my gosh, the floodgates will just open up. Well, you can follow all of our featured trending topics over at edgeofthewebradio.com. Let's deep dive with this week's featured guest.
And now it's time for Edge of the Web featured interview with keynote speaker and best-selling author Andrew Davis.
Dude, I dig the shades, man.
Hey, I have a lot of pairs of glasses actually. These ones are good. These are made out of titanium or something.
No way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's like they said I could sit on them and they wouldn't break. And I haven't tested it because it seemed like a waste of glasses.
Well, maybe they could send you an extra pair just to test it. I mean, you always give a shout out to the
right? Exactly.
I make a great vertical video.
Let's see. Maybe this will work. They're from Dita.
Ooh,
Dita. If you guys are watching, please send me another titanium pair and I'll sit on them. And we'll see how it
we
goes.
would love a pair too. I mean, we'll all sit on them together. Just a show. All right. Andrew Davis is a best-selling author and keynote speaker. Before building and selling a thriving digital marketing agency, Andrew produced for NBC and worked for the Muppets, of all things. It's fantastic. My kids love you because of that. He's appeared in the New York Times and on the Today Show. He's crafted documentary films, award-winning content for tiny startups, as well as Fortune 500 brands. Today, Andrew Davis actually teaches business leaders how to grow their businesses, transform their cities, and leave their legacy. That's a fantastic story right there. I got to hear about the Muppets, man.
The Muppets. Yeah, I worked there in the late 90s, actually. It was, to be honest, it was after Jim Henson died and the company was in a bit of a downward spiral. So I worked on really great films like Muppets from Space, which was not so great. Yeah. I worked on Elmo and Grouchland. I did work on Bear in the Big Blue House, which was an amazing show. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah, the kids love that.
Yeah, and I worked on Sesame Street, so it was a great place to work. I learned a ton there, and funnily enough, I learned everything I know about marketing working in television. I'm pretty sure. The Jim Henson Company is a great example of a company who understands how valuable storytelling is. Because even when I worked there, I basically was in charge of the workshop where they make all the puppets. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was every morning I would walk in and Miss Piggy was just sitting there and I'd kiss her on her nose and go to work. That was the kind of morning that I had. But they were in such a deep predicament that I was in charge of the budget and the production schedule for all the movies and TV shows for the workshop. And we were in way over our heads on the budget. And I went to the production meeting for Bear in the Big Blue House, actually. And I told them we're kind of in trouble, but I have a plan to get us back on track. And they said, don't worry about the plan. And I couldn't figure out why you'd hired me if you didn't seem to care about the budget overruns. And I went to the merchandising and licensing team, and they told me, hey, don't worry about $500,000. Don't worry $1 million. If you create content so good that the audience falls in love with it, they will buy whatever we sell. And sure enough, they were right. When Bear in the Big Blue House debuted, they sold this really ugly toy thing. It was a Bear in the Big Blue House interactive doll. Yeah. It was not interactive and wasn't much of a doll. And that thing generated like $100 million in revenue in the next year and made up for anything I was worried about. But the content had to be so good that it could do that.
That's fantastic. That's a great backstory on at least part of your history. Why don't you unpack the rest of the history? I had to hear about Muppets first, but man, go, man, go.
Well, so I started in television at local TV, and I produced this. I produced 2 local shows. One was a doctor call-in show on Saturday mornings, which was hypochondriacs calling in to basically ask questions of a physician. And I don't know if you know this, but on TV, you cannot give medical advice. you have to always just tell them to go to a doctor. So it was a really boring hour-long show. And then I also produced a late-night call-in talk show with a right-wing Republican host in Boston, Massachusetts, and he would just get everybody fired up, and my job was to answer the phone in the back and pick the least drunk person to get on the air. That was kind of my job. So I left there, and I started working for a company called VideoLink. We did satellite uplinks for the media, and that led to a job actually at the Today Show. I worked on Weekend Today as a producer. I wrote for Charles Kuralt. Do you guys remember Charles Kuralt?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay, good. All right. Tom is like, I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I had to Google Bear in the Big Blue House too.
Oh no, you did?
Yeah, that was my era too.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where you were. But yeah, so I did writing for Charles Kuralt. I worked on his last show called An American Moment, and a couple of my stories are in his book. Called An American Moment. And then I basically left television because this was the late 90s when it was actually the dot-com bust was happening in the late 90s. And I took a job working at a startup in marketing because I had no idea what it was, but I had friends who had left television to do it, and they were making like 4 times as much as me in television. I was like, wow, if you can do it, I can do it. And I quickly realized that there was a lot I could learn in marketing, but also a lot I learned in entertainment that I think I could bring to the table. So I worked at a series of startups that either got acquired or went bust or whatever. And then I decided to start my own agency with a guy named Jim Costco, who was also actually a journalist, a television journalist. And we started an agency called Tipping Point Labs, which we grew until 2012 and then sold. And since I sold the business, I wrote a book in 2012 called Brandscaping, which was an Amazon bestseller. It's still sometimes in the top 100 marketing books, which is always nice to see a few years later. And then I wrote a book called Town Inc. And for the last 3 years, I've just been wandering around the world speaking to anyone that will listen. But it's been great. I've made a living doing the speaking, a very good and comfortable one. And 2 years ago in 2015, I launched another business called Monumental Shift, which is the world's first talent agency for marketing thought leaders.
Whoa.
And we've talked to several of them. Carla Johnson.
Yeah, Carla Johnson was just on. I listened to that episode. Yeah, Carla's great.
Yeah, Jay
Kunzo.
He's coming on in October, November. So yeah.
Oh, he's awesome. That guy's really talented. Yep. So he's on the roster. Michael Brenner, Trish Witkowski, who's awesome. Caroline Nettle. We've got a small but very smart team of people. It's been great.
And then you have Andrew Davis, who's walking around rogue. So if a marketer actually comes up to you and just starts talking to you, it's most likely Andrew Davis. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll speak to anyone that listens.
So, and that's a great segue into really what you're doing and how you're teaching businesses about public speaking. So AmplifySpeaking.com hosts your 13-week program for agency executives who want to use speaking to grow their business. So can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So for the last 2 years, I've been working with people like Carla or Jay, marketing thought leaders that we know, to kind of hone how you teach other people how to speak and really elevate their game. So here's what we noticed in the marketplace. And if you're someone who runs an agency or runs a business of any sort, and you use speaking as a lead gen tool, you can pretty much clearly delineate speakers on an X and Y axis. The X axis is like, everybody on the left is people that are how-to speeches, and on the right is how-to-think speeches. And then at the top of the Y-axis, right at the very top, you have people who challenge conventional thinking, and on the bottom of the Y-axis, you have people who deliver kind of accepted ideas. And most speakers fit into the accepted how-to side of the axis. And so you go to a lot of speeches that are like, how to, write subject headlines that kick ass, or how to, if it was SEMRush, it would be like how to master your search results in 10 easy steps, that kind of stuff. And then on the top right, you have people that are like Jay Kunzo, who has a speech called Be the Exception. And it's all about how you leverage a change in the way you think and your intuition to make better marketing and business decisions to really change your entire business or your marketing or whatever you want to apply it to. Or people like Jay Bear, with Hug Your Haters. And so essentially the goal is to help people move from being in expertville, we call it, where there's competition for your expertise, there's competition for your business, and move across the axis through the crossroads in the middle to become a visionary and really present your big idea, because that's what differentiates you in the market. Those are the kinds of things that actually get you high margin business that closes really fast. And that's actually my experience at Tipping Point. We used speaking as a lead gen tool, and it was unbelievably effective.
Well, that's fantastic. It's a great concept, but I got to ask you, that's not for the faint of heart.
That's right.
And there's not everybody's exceptional. Not everybody. I say that, boy, that's callous, isn't it? Let me rephrase that. is that there are? I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to be in that accepted expertise realm that don't want to risk that level of exceptional individual thought that is challenging the status quo, right?
Oh, yeah, look, it's certainly not for everyone. I think most people are only scared of making the transition because they think they don't know what they need to know to make that transition. But it turns out it's not that hard, and it's not about what you know as much as it is about the exploration and adventure you're going on to investigate new possibilities and potential. So you don't have to know all the answers, and that's the difference. I actually think, to be honest, for me, speaking in expertville makes me very nervous, because it's like, I'm going to give these top 10 tips and I'm going to really show people how to do something. But you know what? What if I'm wrong? Or what if there's somebody in the audience that knows better than me? When you're teaching people about an idea, how to think about something, you really get to present it in a less I don't know, high risk, and prescriptive way. You can say, look, I don't have the answers. I know there's a problem, but I have a hypothesis, and I want to share the hypothesis with you, and I can't wait to hear what you think.
That's interesting.
And hopefully it'll help you.
Yeah, because
so I think it makes it easier.
It gets you into that collaborative kind of communication with your audience, as opposed to them just jotting down the top 10s or being scrutinized at, well, are my top 10s fresh enough? Are they most up to date? Yeah. I can see that.
So it's really, really fun, to be honest, because what happens is, if you really inspire people to think differently when you do a presentation like that and say, hey, look, here's my idea. I have a speech called the loyalty loop that I've been giving a lot. And it's like, hey, here's how I think you can own the loyalty loop. And I have this chart I made that's just a hypothesis. But what happens is, afterwards, people will come up and they'll tell me, oh my gosh, what you talked about with raising anticipation was so amazing, and I think it's going to revolutionize my business, and I'd love to learn more. And do you have a book about it yet? And I'm like, oh no, I don't. But you learn a lot along the way, and you can hear what resonates with people, and what doesn't work, which is nice. So we call it Amplify, because there's actually a 3-step process you do very rapidly. So you investigate an idea or a problem or a solution, and then you aerate the idea with other people. You have to share it with other people to hear how they think about it and what their reaction is to the way you present it. And then you amplify only the things that work, and you have to be willing to dump the stuff that doesn't, which is actually maybe the hardest part for me anyway, because I quickly fall in love with stuff.
That makes so much bloody sense. So you've got these steps along the way. So what should someone do to start out practicing their public speaking? So you have the you have the concepts of how to get to a particular concept, right? And that's the vetting process that you're talking about. But how does someone just start their pitch? Because you also have nerves that you have to jettison.
Sure.
You're on performance all the time, right?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going to be on stage anywhere. So where does someone like me start?
Right.
Oh, come on, Tom. You're performing right now.
I am performing.
Why do you feel okay here?
Because there's nobody in front of me.
There are Tom, there are thousands watching you right now.
That's right.
Well, you should see the first time I ever anchored sports. We could put that in the show notes. If you ever saw Boom Goes to Dynamite and you search my name, Deadspin, it's there. But
we got to pull that out sometime.
That's funny. Well, I think, look, getting over the fear of speaking in public, it isn't easy to do. And actually, Michael Brenner, he has a diagnosed fear of speaking. So it's not, it's actually called something else. It's an anxiety disorder that has a real name, glaphophobia or whatever it has. But anyway, Michael now speaks like 30 or 40 times a year. And what he's done to overcome it are very simple things. Number one, he rehearses a ton, maybe more than me or Jay or some of the other people, because the more comfortable he gets with the material, the less he has to worry about the speech. The other thing he does is he realized that a lot of the fear was all about him. He was like, I'm scared. I don't know if I can get up there. I'm worried that I'm not smart. I'm this, that, and the other thing. And what he did, he said, was he transferred all of his energy to the audience. He was like, you know what? The audience is here to see me speak. That's great. And that makes me a little anxious. So I'm going to just make it all about the audience. How can I help them? How can I smile and make their day? How can I, and all of a sudden, when he thought just about the audience, he said he started to feel a lot better. And there are lots of techniques to get over the fear of speaking. But if you're just getting started, like the things you really want to focus on, I think, are first the idea. Don't worry so much about the stuff. Once you have the idea together in an outline, like don't go right into building it in PowerPoint or trying to get the slides right. Like just build an outline that tells the story first, and that'll keep you away from getting stuck in PowerPoint traps. Then bring it into PowerPoint and literally rehearse. I know everybody says that and you think it's lame, but one of the easiest things to do is set up your laptop with your web camera, deliver your entire presentation standing, just like I am. This is what I do in my office here, and deliver it right to camera, and you'll be much better, even if you only do that 3 or 4 times before you present. You will find all the problems, you will realize all the stuff, and you have to do it out loud and play big to the entire stage.
Or do random addressing to people on the street. I mean, just like you do, right?
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, so you could stop people in airports. Like whenever there's a plane delay that I'm on, I will just whip out my laptop and be like, do you have 45 minutes? I have a great keynote.
I got something for you, baby. That's awesome. Glossophobia.
That's what it is. Glossophobia.
The fear of public speaking or speaking in general. That's awesome.
Yes, that's right. And it's above like necrophobia. And Michael Brenner just did a webinar for us that included all 6 of those.
Oh my gosh.
Fear of death and heights and spiders and the dark.
We could put them all together in one big room.
In college, I took the public speaking. Everybody had to take public speaking where I went, but I took it over summer, so 3 weeks and I'd be done. 3 weeks of hell for those 3 weeks rather than a whole semester. I was like, let's just get this done.
And look where you ended up. It's every week.
I speak 50 times a year now, and I cannot imagine what it would be like to have anxiety about it, but I know it can be debilitating. And look, if public speaking is not for everybody. Jim Costco, my business partner at Tipping Point Labs, did not like it at all. Maybe he was afraid of it. He never said, but he just didn't have any desire to do it. And which was great because I really, really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it, and I still do. If I didn't have to travel as much as I travel all around the world to do the speeches, I would do this more. I mean, I really do love meeting the people, hearing new stories. I've heard fascinating stories in almost every industry from amazing people. It's a really great way.
Well, what you're doing is actually you're using that as a recon tool as well. So it's not just presentation. You're pulling in information. You're having that interaction, and you're utilizing your skill set to be able to open up a whole nother level of ideation and vetting of different concepts that you're going to continue to pitch, right?
Exactly. It's all about investigating, aerating, and amplifying. So when I go to an event, I spend the whole day there usually. And I mean, to be honest, I learn a ton. And it's like going to college every day. I sit in these sessions, and even if it is a how-to session, it's not that I don't enjoy how-to sessions. Everybody does. I learn a ton in these sessions. I learn a ton about these industries. I hear about the problems people are facing and the solutions they're looking for. It's really a wonderful way to investigate new ideas. And here, I do have advice just for any marketer. If you really want to learn something new, you should go to an event that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's really easy for people like us to go to Content Marketing World or Marketing Pros B2B event, which are both awesome events. But you know what? If you go to like Manufacturing Expo 2017, you will feel really out of place, but you'll learn a ton about how the other people view the world and the problems they're facing.
There was a conference of a funeral directors down here a while back, and boy,
you went?
I did.
You learned about embalming. And
that was a stone cold audience right there.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, man.
You're in Cleary. I do know a couple of speakers who have spoken for the Funeral Directors Association. Apparently,
It's a thing, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently they're really the undertakers have a real,
Grim sense of humor there.
Yeah, jeez, you're on fire, Aaron. That's huge.
Well, let's pull it back around. Your website actually says that agency executives should get 3 things from public speaking. Can you go through what those 3 things are?
Oh my Lord, let me think. You should get high quality leads for your business, faster closing leads for your business, and revenue, direct revenue from speaking.
That was a test. He passed.
Was that right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ding,
yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
Absolutely.
With my sound effects, Pat. Yeah, but, I mean, look, a lot of agency executives speak for free, and I think that's really tough. It's tough long term if you run an agency to also like. I know you're going there for business development perspective, but also there's a perception, I think, on the event organizer's side that the value they provide is so high that you should be willing to speak for free. And the truth is, there are times when every agency executive should be willing to speak for free, but it should only be the times where they actually find the real value. Too many agency executives or executives in general speak for free because they hope it will lead to business. And so often it doesn't, that it's really not worth it. Even if they pick up the travel, think about the time that you're out of the office and could be working on other more effective use of your time. So I really do preach that most executives should look to at least quote a fee. I don't care if it's $500, that's fine, but you should be at least saying, hey, look, I don't speak for free, I'm $500, but this event sounds amazing, so I'm happy to waive the fee. There's a very different perception in the mind of an event organizer when they hear that.
No, you're absolutely right. And the only way to really get into that channel of direct revenue is get out of the marketing conferences, get out of these spaces where they expect you to speak for free. Go in. So how do you go about getting some of these public speaking gigs?
So, I mean, for me, it's been a very referral-based business. So 100% of my speaking is referral-based, meaning they've usually seen me speak at another event or they were referred by someone who's seen me speak. And my goal for every event is to get 3 referrals, and I have a whole quality thing for them, but high quality referrals are usually people who have a date and have a real event and have a budget. And so my goal is to get those at every single event. So I have this kind of ongoing lead gen tool. I think if you're really just starting out, getting outside the echo chamber is really the key to being much more successful as a speaker, because everybody wants to speak at Content Marketing World. Everybody wants to speak at Marketo's conference or Marketing Profs, or list all the great marketing events that there are. And so they have a free choice, but you're also in a very crowded space where it's very, very noisy and a lot of repetition. So what I've done every year is picked a different niche and focused specifically on trying to secure business in the niche. And usually one keynote speech will generate 3 new referrals. And those 3 referrals over 3 years are worth 53 new gigs in one vertical. So in 2010, I spoke in the construction industry, and last year I still got gigs in the construction industry that are just a referral of the one free gig I did for a publishing event. And we actually teach this in Amplify. So the first week is actually, you've got to pick a niche, and that's the niche you're going to investigate so that you understand exactly what their problems are. You can empathize with the audience, and you can actually build a speech around that.
Well, rock on. Hey, speaking of a niche, we also noticed that you're speaking about video at Content Marketing World next week, right?
Yes. We're talking about, I was actually just working on it. Oh, I forgot to turn off my screen. I thought you might be able to see it, but you can't. Anyway, if you're on Facebook Live, you can see it. I gave a thumbs up for you guys listening. I gave a thumbs up, and it was a funny visual joke that you don't get on the radio. So my bad. But I was speaking about video. I've spent so much time working on this. I've taken hundreds of videos and digested them to see what makes more people watch an entire video versus not an entire video. So how do you actually grab people's attention? And I've built a formula for how to do it, but it's really all about how do you actually hold someone's attention to create a video as long as you want to create. It's really, really fun.
Interesting.
I need to hear this. I honestly.
Okay. Here, I'll tell you a little bit more. So look, what I started to realize very quickly is a lot of marketers, especially marketers that do case studies, pack all the information they can into the video, especially at the very beginning. Like I watched a video case study from 23andMe, and it started with essentially 16 seconds where they explained the story. They were like, Martha and Debbie had never met before. They're long lost sisters, and they've been looking for each other for 10 years. And then it showed them hugging. And then they had 2.5 minutes of their story. And at that point, you're like, I don't have any questions. Like, we already know the story. 17 seconds, you gave me the entire story. But you look at videos that are very, very successful, even things like the Volvo Epic Splits. Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
Or if you look at some of the stuff that Dove has done that's been highly touted as really, really great. Yeah. But those two videos have high video viewing rates, like in the millions and millions and millions, but they also have really high audience retention rates, meaning that people watch most of the video. And when you talk to people as they're watching these videos, they'll actually tell you that they have a series of questions going through their mind. And so like if you watch the Volvo Epic Splits, people ask questions like, wait, is that the guy from the action movies, Jean-Claude Van Damme? Yep. They will say, oh my gosh, wait, is that the song from Enya? They're wondering and they want confirmation. And then they'll say, why is he in the desert? Oh my gosh, why is he on a truck? Wait, did he just say epic splits? These are the things they actually say. And those questions give you momentum. So the formula really is to build attention, you have to deliver suspense over time times the payoff. Like you actually have to have a payoff at the end where people feel gratified and all their questions were answered.
Oh, wow. So it's not only the narrative concept. I mean, there is absolutely recipes of this, and it's almost like a formula of momentum. I mean, you're building it, moving it, and you got to be able to add these components into it. That's fantastic.
And you know what? It's not even that hard. Like what started me on this journey was, have you guys watched the watermelon explosion thing that BuzzFeed did?
No, I didn't catch that.
I have not, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just quickly explain this. Do we have time?
Yeah.
Okay, good. No. So this is why I started to wonder about this, because everybody asks me at events, they will say, how long should my videos be? This is the question I get asked constantly. Mm-hmm. And I kept saying, you know what? Like if I call this the goldfish theorem, by the way. If people have the attention span of a goldfish, which is 8 seconds, and those two things are equal to each other, then every video should be only 8 seconds long. Like that's obvious, the answer. And it turns out, obviously, that's not true. But one day I get onto Facebook, and all of a sudden, my friends are talking about this watermelon live feed, and I go to check it out. And when I showed up, it was about 20 minutes in, and basically, the two people from BuzzFeed were streaming live on Facebook, putting watermelons around rubber bands around a watermelon to explode it. Right?
I had seen this video. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I started watching, and it's like I watched for 23 minutes or something because I had to see the thing explode. And all you have to do to create a suspense in a video is constantly raise the stakes. You have to show the audience something they want, and then you just have to hold on to it for dear life and really put a bunch of stuff in the way. You have to threaten the stakes. So basically, I started reading all the comments, but 800,000 people watched that video live, and 11 million people have watched it today. And there's only one question everybody has on their mind. What count of rubber bands will explode this watermelon? So even with one question, you can get people to watch 45 minutes of live video because they must have the answer. That's how deep and ingrained this idea of paying attention is. We want the answer. Is it 500? Is it 400? When is it going to explode?
Right. Well, I mean, it's like how many licks can...
so let's get ready to say that's our next live video. It's me sitting here with a lollipop.
Yep.
Yes.
How many licks?
You should do it. I'm serious. You know what? I will tune in because I want to know the answer.
But here's the deal: is that what's happening? What you're as this example, what you're referring to here is the investment people are making, and they value their time. And there's a point where they look at something, and if they see the building anticipation, they will not want to lose the transaction that they had with watching the video up to that point. So all of a sudden now you're compounding that interest.
That's right.
Over and over. So they are indelibly sucked into this thing because of all the time they've wasted up to now. And it's going to keep on going.
Yes,
it's like a gravity well.
Aaron, you're so right, because there's a cathartic reaction that happens when you get the answer to each one of those questions. So even in the Volvo Epic Splits, when you realize it's Jean-Claude Van Damme and you're confirmed that, you get a little dopamine in your head going, yeah, you got an answer. And then when you're like, oh, that's a truck. Wow, that's cool. It's a truck. And then it's like, yeah, he did the splits. How's he going to get back up? And when you don't get the answer to how he's going to get back up in that video, you kind of feel gypped. A little bit, of you goes away. And the watermelon's the same thing. You don't get that. You want that cathartic reaction and the hit of dopamine. So you wait 43 minutes to see the thing explode. And you get the answer, and it's just an amazing phenomenon. So all of us as marketers can learn a lot from this simple idea of basically just rewarding our audience with constantly them chasing questions and us leading them with answers all over and over again.
I dig it. Hey, I wanted to wrap up. I love this conversation, and we would love to have you back on the show, man.
Of course, anytime. This is fun.
Unpacking some of this and really getting down to the nitty gritty of how. There's such a mystification on what a good viral video starts with, and we've had a number of individuals on our show over the years talking about that from different angles. But it can be broken down that easily, and not that it means that it is an easy undertaking, but if you get the psychology right, then you can actually pin it down to what those tactics or what those executions need to be, what creative needs to be able to make that viral video. Hey, you wrote a book here just recently. We mentioned it earlier, Town Inc.
Town Inc., yeah.
I was interested about that book and noticed that you mentioned a few Indiana towns here. And we're obviously from Indiana.
Yay!
So tell us about a couple of the cities and the towns that you referred to.
I spent a lot of time in Indiana. We did a documentary film called Roadside Ambition, which we shot in Alexandria, Indiana. So over the course of 2 years, I was in Indianapolis and Anderson and Alexandria a ton. Elkhart, Indiana is in the book. So if you're interested and you want to know more about the RV capital of the world, you should check that out. Warsaw, Indiana, Warsaw, Indiana is the reason I wrote that book, by the way. I went to Warsaw, Indiana, which is the orthopedic capital of the world. And that's where I learned a ton about, the power of marketing a place in a very specific way. And that's what Town Inc. is all about. It was really fun to write. And, I've been so happy to share the message around the world, actually.
What inspired that book? Was it for your own town or
just
Warsaw?
No, well, so because I'm on the road so much, I get to see a lot of American cities and towns. Sure. And it was when I actually drove from Indianapolis to Warsaw, and I took the back routes to drive through Alexandria, actually. And as I was driving through, I was like, you know what? Who has hired me in Warsaw, Indiana? Because I'm just seeing dead town after dying town after, oh my gosh, miserable town. Oh, that town's not so bad. Oh, it's bad. And then, and then I got to Warsaw. And when you drive into Warsaw, have you guys been there?
Yeah.
It's like a total different place. Very it doesn't look like anything south of that anyway. And I was like, what does this town do? And as soon as I asked the question, there was a sign that said, "Welcome to Warsaw, Indiana, the orthopedic capital of the world." And I was like, is that all? All you have to do is put up a sign that says we're the something capital of the world. So I spent the next 3 years basically doing research to find out why towns that had a claim like that had staked a claim as America's largest or the world's biggest, or were they more successful than similar towns of similar sizes? And it turns out yes. By the way, the shortcut to the answer is the towns with a claim generate about $4 billion a year more on average than towns without a claim. And those towns that we compared are very similar in geography and size, education, population. Everything we could get similar.
Okay, so, I got to know, where's the bacon capital of the world?
Anybody know?
I don't know. There's a bacon.
I don't know the bacon capital.
I said there's a bacon fest in Tipton, but
I'm kind of showing my cart.
Jim's house.
I would definitely visit that. That one I don't know. I know I've been to a lot of these places, so I visited about 50 different cities and towns.
Sweet. I mean, that's an awesome travel, and you met a bunch of people that were so proud of their locale too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know what? One of the side effects of having a claim like that is this amazing sense of pride that comes with it. And that especially happens in the smaller cities and towns. Some of these places were bigger, like San Diego is the craft beer capital of America, and so that they're proud of it, but not as proud when you go to somewhere like Elkhart. They're actually very, very proud of the fact that they're the RV capital of the world, and their economy really hums because of that. And yes, it has its downtimes, but they've really come back with a vengeance as the RV market has come back, and it's bigger and more powerful than ever. And I went to upstate New York. There's a little town in upstate New York that is called the Greek yogurt capital of the world, Batavia, New York. And they are really proud that they are the Greek yogurt capital of the world. All the Chobani yogurt you've ever eaten comes from this one little town.
Oh, I think I've seen a documentary on that, actually.
Yeah. Hamdi Yukalai is the guy who founded it, and he's a really great guy. Yeah, it's really fantastic. Cool.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to take some sort of. We've got to petition Indianapolis.
Well, Indianapolis is the racing capital of the world.
Yeah, you guys have the Indy 500. Yeah, that's a good one.
No, can't change that. But you got to try to do something else.
There's suburbs. Carmel tried to build a carousel, like a $5 million carousel.
Kidding.
Maybe they're trying to stake a claim for.
They were going round and round about that one.
I think isn't Eloqua or Marketo is based there? Who's based there? In Indy.
The Salesforce is. Exact Target. Was Exact Target.
Exact Target. That's who I was thinking. Yeah, like you guys could be the marketing automation capital of the world. Like you don't have to go crazy. Like you
heard it here first on Edge of the Web.
That's right. You could be the agile marketing capital of the world.
There we go.
You know what I found out? Aaron, all I found was that actually in every one of these situations, no matter how big or small the place was, there was always one visionary who really was the driving force, and they just didn't care what everybody else said. They made the claim, and they built the legacy. And so all it takes is one person. I went to Hamilton, Missouri, which is the quick quilting capital of the world, and it's a woman named Jenny Doan has built this empire there that you just cannot believe. They did $100 million in revenue in 2016. Wow. Just this one company in this small little town.
That's a lot of quilts.
She is a genius, and her son Al Doan is a marketing mastermind. He's just a whiz. It's really amazing.
We're going to turn Indianapolis into the edge casting capital of the world. There it is. See? Own it. Done.
Done.
Hey,
no one can stop you.
Many have tried. Well, hey, let me ask you this real quick, Andrew. What bugs you about your industry right now?
The word engagement.
Ooh.
I honestly cannot stand the word engagement, because I think, especially from a marketing perspective, I think we've diluted the word engagement to the point at which we're not sure what it means. And so, when we say, hey, we're going to create some engaging content, and engagement is up, engagement's down. Like, I don't know what that means. Is that likes? Is it comments? Is it views? Mm-hmm. Is it so I try to use get rid of the word engagement and just try to talk about what I really want. Like, do we really want just views? Are we trying to get people to buy something? Like, does any of this stuff matter? So I really try not to use it. And I'm trying to come up with a better definition for engagement for marketers, but it's kind of fruitless.
Marketers kind of screw up everything, don't they?
We do. You know what? We ruin every good party. Like, anytime a new app comes out that people are having a great time on, we're like, we can fix it. Let's make money on it. I know they're having fun. Ruin their time with a pop-up ad.
That's funny. All right. So, conversely, what excites you about your industry right now?
Oh, no.
Pop-up ads?
Ding, 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 ding. No, I don't know. Well, I forgot. You guys asked me this question.
You posted up there the opportunity to use things like video and long-form content to inspire and change people, right?
That is true. I do, and that I truly do believe. When you actually think about the fact that if people will invest 45 minutes in watching a watermelon explode, and also will invest 90 minutes to watch a documentary documentary on Netflix that will change their life. I mean, I know people that have stopped eating sugar or have started juicing because they watched a documentary on Netflix. If marketers just could embrace the idea that we can inspire people to do some amazing things, and along the way, yes, they will probably buy our product, I think that we'd actually be a better place for it, and we'd ruin less apps.
Fantastic. I mean, video. I mean, we see it. It's been the age of video for the last couple of years, but dare I say it, engaging video needs to.
No, I'm hanging up. I'm done.
So give me a fun fact. I mean, obviously, dude, the Muppets is just fantastic.
That's it.
Kind of creepy that you were kissing Miss Piggy every time you were coming to work.
She was pretty hot, I gotta be honest. I was actually a childhood actor, so I'll send it to you guys. You can put it in the show notes. But there's a television commercial from when I lived in South Africa that I'm in, and you guys can try to figure out which kid I am. I'll send it. It was a pretty good commercial.
I'm just going to stop right there. Okay. Well, is there anything we can promote for you on the show and after the show?
Oh man, well, certainly if you're interested in the speaking stuff, amplifyspeaking.com. We do a thing called Little Things every single week. I send out a little video with a little tip or trick on what you can do to become a better speaker. So that's worth getting for free. You can also check out monumentalshift.com if you're interested in the talent agency or more about Jay or Carla or some of the people we talked about. And you can find me on Twitter. I mean, that's the easiest way to get in touch with me, @DrewDavisHere on Twitter. So I'll see you there. Or I'll see you on the road at some awesome event. Or in airports.
Exactly. A corner of the street, your local post office.
That's right, exactly.
He's got marketing Tourette's. That's what's happening. He's just randomly talking to people.
That's right. Did you just say engagement? Let me tell you.
He's like a hall monitor.
That's right.
Fantastic. Well, Andrew, it was certainly a pleasure having you on the show today, and we would certainly want you to come back and share your story, but also be that evangelist that we need out there. We need more people that can actually help teach businesses how to be authentic, how to speak, how to be able to present their vision, right?
I'd love to be back on. This has been great.
Cool, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
More than welcome. Well, congrats on. Are you keynoting at Content Marketing World?
I'm doing what they call a future keynote, which is like saying I've been a keynote in the past, so all the people who have done keynotes in the past cannot do them again. So they're basically like on a different stage, which is fine. I mean, I'm going this year just to enjoy myself, so it'll be great.
I'm scratching my head here about. Can you?
You guys should drive, man. It's not that far.
We really should.
If you're gonna be
just
there,
let me know. Just to be accosted by Andrew in person, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be like, this guy likes to say engagement. Stop him right now.
Oh my gosh! Well, hope to see you there, and obviously we're going to be following you from afar. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for being part of the show, and we're certainly going to share all the links to everything that you're doing on the show notes. So remember to share our stuff out, because sharing is caring, right, Andrew?
That's right, absolutely, man. Of course.
Oh, fantastic! Well, thank you for listening to Edge of the Web Radio and watching our live stream. Special thank you to our colleagues at Site Strategics for the continued quality of production, as well as our guest, Andrew. Make sure to check out all of the must-see videos and much more insider information over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. We'll talk to you next week, and who knows, we may even be in Content Marketing World if I can persuade Emily to not go to Boston and go with me to Columbus, right? Not her,
Cleveland.
Tom.
Cleveland.
Oh, it's Cleveland, that's right.
Columbus, I wouldn't change your plans.
Oh, man.
No offense. Oh, sorry. I've spoken at Ohio State. I did not see that.
Well, you were almost there, but you just stepped in it, man.
Tom, it's all over. He's like, we lost the food.
No engagement with this guy.
Exactly.
Fantastic. All right, well, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much for everybody. And remember, do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.